In the paddock and the scratching shed, let's hear the voices sing. Let's get behind United and make the rafters ring. We've a team we can be proud of, and Don Revie is the king as Leeds go marching on. Glory, glory, Leeds United. Glory, glory, Leeds United. Glory, glory, Leeds United. They're the greatest football team in all the land.
There are few more compelling stories than that of Don Revie as he liked to be known. Yes, even the pronunciation of his surname caused controversy. From the day he was born, July the 10th, 1927 in Middlesbrough, Don Revie always stood out from the crowd. His achievements over 61 vital years have been well chronicled and are now remembered on many a street corner. It's a fitting tribute to him that fans on their way to watch Leeds United even today pass Revie Road. Don first came to prominence with Leicester, only missing the 1949 Cup final through injury. Then later with Hull City, where he helped the great Rach Carter rejuvenate an ailing club. Perhaps the most memorable of 6 England caps came during Manchester City days, when Scotland were put to the sword.
The capacity crowd are at Wembley to see England, in the white shirts, gain their biggest win ever over Scotland. The hero of the match, Stanley Matthews, toys with his opponents. Having passed, he moves into position to take the return. When it comes, he seems to have all the time in the world to pick the spot for his centre. Matthews again to Revie, who slips it to Lofthouse. He beats his man and with a great drive gets England second. The game's only 6 minutes old and already England are 2 up. Nothing can stop Matthews, the incomparable maestro, playing one of his greatest games. And now it's to Revie again. Revie to Lofthouse, but that goes astray and is collected by left-back Haddock, who puts Scotland on the attack. England attack again, and it's a near miss, but there's no one there to follow up. A minute or two later, and Revie makes it 3 for England. Matthews skips past 2 players before passing again to his inside partner, Revie, who can't get past Haddock, but Matthews is there, and so is his famous sprint. Back the ball comes to Lofthouse, and another goal. And England lead at half-time by 4 goals to 1. From the restart, England keep up the pressure. Lofthouse is unable to stop his rush and takes a header over the pressman. They haven't much to cheer about now. No one would believe he's 40. Over again to Revie. To Wilshaw, and another goal. This is Wilshaw's 4th of the match. He's the first man to score 4 in a big match at Wembley. It seems that everyone is cheering, but it's a sad blow for some. But Scotland never give up, and they come back on the attack. Doherty takes a free kick, and it's a goal from 60 yards. A defiant last-minute gesture by a team unlucky enough to have met England and Matthews at their best.
That same year, Don Revie's skills were richly rewarded. He was named Footballer of the Year. His only disappointment, a loser's medal in the cup final against Newcastle. 12 months later, Revie and Manchester were back at Wembley, fulfilling a promise to themselves to return victorious. All the talk was of the Revie plan.
People know, I think we call it 4-2-4. It was Ken Barnes and I originally in the middle of the field, with 4 forwards up front and 4 defenders at the back.
Don Revie leads another Manchester attack. Revie, who wasn't in the team till 4 hours before the kick-off, is proving a tower of strength as centre-forward. His attack gives an opening to Jackie Dyson, who shoots, and it's a goal!
The most momentous move in Don Revie's career came in 1958. His transfer to Leeds altered the shape of his entire career. As a footballer, he was the most wanted man in Britain. 4 clubs paid £80,000 for his services. In March 1961, he became player-manager to launch one of the most successful and remarkable careers in the history of football management. But the start was less than auspicious.
Very grim, yes. We had a chairman called Mr. Bolton at the time, and then Mr. Reynolds took over from him. and recommended me to the board of directors to be team manager. He eventually sent, he sent a letter to Bournemouth recommending me for the player manager job there.
This story that you nearly got, you would have got the sack if they hadn't won, if you hadn't won a match at Newcastle at the end of the first season you were there. Is that true?
That was possible. I think that you only get one season, and if you take a team down to a lower division in your first season, and the way the managers are sacked these days, let's be fair, there's 760 odd gone since the war, and there's only 92 jobs in the in the Football League. It's a very dicey game.
Within 2 years of that escape, the Revie revolution had begun. He steered the club into the First Division as champions in 1964. In their first season back in the top flight, Leeds failed only on goal difference to Manchester United to take the league title. They also reached the FA Cup final, but scarcely did themselves justice in losing in extra time to Liverpool. Unfortunately, Liverpool also pipped them for the Championship the next year. But at last, in 1968, Leeds silenced their critics on the best stage of all, Wembley. The spell was broken in the Football League Cup final against Arsenal.
It started out well enough with some reasonably crisp play. Arsenal made some promising attacks. But any goodwill and skill rapidly turned sour early on when Leeds were awarded a goal. Arsenal said their goalkeeper had been fouled before Terry Cooper cracked the ball home. Should that goal have been allowed? Watch it again from another angle as we stop the film at the vital moment in dispute. Furnell was helpless as the ball went in. The gunners were convinced the goal should have been disallowed, but referee Hamer ignored their protest. From that moment on, things went from bad to worse. Leeds had a vital one-goal lead. Arsenal were angry and desperate to draw level. This was the result. A shameful 3-for-all in the Leeds goalmouth. With some assistance, the referee managed to regain control. Half-time brought a welcome break in the tension, but the mood was still black on the resumption. Anything was likely to spark off more friction between the two sides. The standard of play suffered badly. This Leeds effort by Bremner came close to bringing about yet another ugly scene. Arsenal attacking. Time was running out. A goal was vital. Samuels came close to getting it, but Sprake kept the ball out. And that was that. It was all over. Leeds had won by a disputed goal. Their supporters were delighted with the result. But nobody could claim it was a great match, even though at least one fan got carried away in his efforts to congratulate the cup winners. Still, the League Cup was on its way home to Leeds, the first major prize for a Yorkshire side in 33 years.
As if some great weight had been lifted from their shoulders, Revie's Leeds went on to a second success only weeks later. European football had become a big part of life with Leeds United. Some of the biggest club names of all were toppled by a side fast gaining a reputation to be feared. And Ferencváros from Hungary were the ones beaten in the Fairs Cup final. At long last, Leeds had something tangible to show for their astonishing progress under Don Revie. And the next season, they scaled new peaks in the league.
Nice play. Oh, great goal! What a great goal! Michael Brady. Giles, opening up, situation opening up. Chance, that's it! Scorer is Lorimer. West Ham will be in difficulties here trying to cover this. It's a difficult angle to cover. They're trying to form a wall. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 men in the wall. Only 4 now. Leeds take it quickly. And it's a goal! Lorimer! Well, a great goal for Leeds United. Hunt with a chance. Oh, he had a chance of a good pass out to Thompson on the right, but Leeds have got it. Bremner a quick one. It's trouble. Yes! Jones through! Oh, well taken! That's the final goal for Leeds United.
One of the most memorable European nights at Ellen Road came in 1968 when Belgium's Standard Liège, 2 goals up, looked certain winners. but had reckoned without the never-say-die spirit instilled by Revie.
Well, I was talking about Standard trying to cool the pace down. They've certainly cooled it down with that goal. Jackie Charlton! A great goal! And that's 2-1. 2-1. They need 2 more goals. Can they get them? It's a goal! A good low shot by Lorimer. Just a couple of minutes to go. And they've got it! A goal for Leeds!
The one we've set our hearts on for 8 years now is this league championship, and it's fantastic when you think that we've played 38 matches, only lost 2, 61 points, and Liverpool are still behind us.
This is something like the coming of a dream, isn't it, for you? Looking back over the season, what sort of are the highlights for you?
Well, the highlights for me are the consistency of the side. Over the past 5 or 6 years, they've been very consistent. Only lose 2 in the best league in the world out of 38 matches so far is extremely good. And I only hope now that they go on and win it for the hard work the players and the staff and everybody's put in.
The title was eventually secured with 6 points to spare over Liverpool, and that record of losing only 2 matches all season remains unbeaten. And what a finale it was at Anfield.
Well, the memories will live with me forever, that memory, because Billy Bremner took our team when we won the championship to the Leeds supporters, about 10,000 of them on the left-hand side of the ground, behind the goal. Then he brought them back to me, and I said, Bill, take them to the Kop. Oh, I don't fancy that, boss. I said, go on, take them. So he walked the team, and I can see them walking now towards the Kop, and the Kop, 27,000, went deathly silent, and they let him get within 6 yards with the team of the Kop. Then they all started champions, and they wouldn't let the players off the pitch for 7 minutes. And they'd just lost the championship that night, and they roared, and oh, it was tremendous reception we got.
To say you were deadly rivals, you had a very strange rapport with Liverpool, and of course you did as well with Bill Shankly.
Yeah, Bill Shankly and I were very close. He used to phone me every Saturday night before match of the day. And he came in the dressing room after that game with all the Liverpool players still in the strip with a bottle of champagne each for our lads. And he'd give them all the champagne. He said, Don, can I just have a minute? So I said to the lads, let's be quiet, Mr. Shankly wants to say something. And he said, all I've got to say to you boys, you're a great side and you deserve to win it. You didn't pinch it, you didn't fluke it, you're a wonderful team. Now, coming from Shanks, that was praise indeed.
Don Revie's own reward was the OBE bestowed on him in the 1970 New Year's Honours List. The reward for the Leeds fans in this era: great games, great goals and great players.
Giles. Leeds lost that grip they had earlier, but here's Bremner, here Leeds. A good ball, nice ball to Gray. And a goal, a glorious goal, a superbly executed goal. Mick Jones. O'Grady. Jack Charlton, Bremner. Oh, beautiful goal! What a superlative goal by Bremner! Oh, what a wonderful goal by Bremner! Charlton for once not going onto the goal line. Staying on the edge of the penalty area instead. And that one's aimed towards Jack Charlton, though, and he almost got to it with his head, but Mike England, his counterpart, getting there first. Lorimer with a shot, and a fine goal by Peter Lorimer. Gray, inside is Clark. There's Gray. Oh, good ball to Jones, to Clark. There's Gray, it's there, Eddie Gray. Oh, what a beautifully worked goal. Paul Madeley. Chris Galvin, out on the left is Hibbert, but Galvin holding it at the moment. Bates trying to get up there, Gray picking it up in midfield. And a good one. It's there, what an incredible goal! What an incredibly judged goal by Eddie Gray! Gray still up there. Eddie Gray. Oh, good footwork by Gray, still going. Oh, what a lovely goal, what a masterly goal by Eddie Gray. A superb bit of football.
These players were blessed with sublime skills, none more so than Eddie Gray, whose gem of a goal against Burnley is still frequently shown. The climax to the 1970 season saw Leeds in with a unique chance of 3 trophies, including the FA Cup final against Chelsea, which went to a replay.
Cook. Chelsea showing a bit of style now as Osgood goes in. A goal! Peter Osgood! And a beautiful long throw again there by Hutchinson. Jack Charlton, and it's there! And it's Webb!
Another crushing disappointment, and in the European Cup semi-finals, more woe. Celtic came out best in two titanic battles, 1-0 at Elland Road, 2-1 at Hampden Park, in front of no fewer than 136,000 spectators. To rub salt into the wounds, those other Merseyside rivals, Everton, took the league championship. But there was glory to be gained the next season, in the old Fairs Cup, to be renamed the UEFA Cup the next year. Juventus, the crack Italian team, was the foe in the two-legged final. Leeds drew 2-2 in Turin, and those away goals were to prove vital. When the teams met again in front of a capacity crowd at Elland Road, Alan Clark virtually assured Revie's team of a major trophy with his goal, beautifully struck. Juventus possessed a team of internationals, but Leeds, roared on by their fanatical followers, loved the great occasion. The Italians did salvage some pride, though, levelling the match on the night. A 1-1 draw, sufficient for Leeds to go on, though, and celebrate a significant triumph in their staggering progress under Don Revie.
Come on, Michael. Where is he? He's not there. Come here.
In the League Championship that year, form like this against Everton put Leeds well in the running for a second title.
To Keith Newton, and he's made a gift of it to Jones. And here's Giles. It's there. Giles has equalised. A mistake by Brian LeBone. Free kick taken by Cooper. Giles. Headed out to Bremner. A beautiful goal by Bremner. What cool thinking by Bremner. Madeley back to Lorimer. And Bremner is there! What a lovely goal by Bremner! Again, the cool head of this little man!
On the final run-in, Leeds opened up a one-point advantage over Arsenal in a highly controversial match at Elland Road. Jack Charlton's last-minute winning goal was hotly disputed, but Leeds were in the driving seat. Arsenal, though, did have one game in hand, and they made it count, beating North London enemies Spurs to record a famous double. And, would you believe it, Brian Clough's Derby County consigned Leeds to second spot again the following season after another tense finish. At least, though, Leeds, bidding themselves for a double this year, had gained some revenge over Arsenal.
Madeley's head. McClintock. Simpson. Cooper reading that all the way. Lorimer's injured in an offside position. He's hurt his back, but that's aimed towards Jones. Jones in on it, and a goal! What a mix-up of the defence! What an appalling mix-up of the Arsenal defence! 1 minute before half-time, and Rice brings down Bremner. Giles, as Leeds keep the pressure on all the time on this Arsenal defence. Clark's on the outside, but Lorimer's hit one, and a goal! In off the post! And Giles takes it. Madeley, and a goal from Clark. Lindsay with the free kick to Thompson. And a foul by Lorimer, not given. Clark. Jones waiting for the pass, and there it is, well timed, and Jones has made it. Yes!
I think Saturday result's very important to us, but I think the double with 2 matches to go must be on, must be in with a chance.
One of the most important weekends then in Leeds United's entire history. The first leg of the double was at Wembley, and against, guess who? Yes, the old enemy, Arsenal again.
Across the cover. Radford's gone on, and he wanted it a little quicker probably. Rice leaving it for Armstrong. Now Leeds are back in some strength, the white shirts, and it's Gray who stops Armstrong. Peter Lorimer now. Clark. A lot of determination there between Clark and McClintock, and it goes for Alan Ball. Charlie George losing his way a little. And Madeley to take it up now for Leeds United. A fiercely competitive match and nothing between the two sides. Jones now for Leeds. And McNabb only half stopping him. Jones getting it across. And Clark going in. And Alan Clark has put Leeds ahead.
Well, it was Mick Jones who made that goal, as he does so often unselfishly. Bob McNabb just couldn't stop the cross. Clark comes steaming in there, headed it with his feet on the ground, and there can be no blame attached to Barnett for that header. Powerful, right in the corner, a winner all the way from Alan Clark.
The cup already with the white ribbons. Leeds get it for the first time in their history. In centenary year, the cup goes to Billy Bremner and Leeds United.
So far, so good, but just when it seemed Billy Bremner and his team had the chance to silence the critics once and for all, they blew it badly. Don Revie could hardly watch as Wolves beat them in the league only 48 hours after Wembley. 3 months later, though, he was back with his players, plaguing the lives out of the rest of the country's football clubs. Victory followed victory. There were few more consistent sides anywhere in the world. And when Leeds reached their third cup final in 4 years and found themselves up against second division Sunderland, there could only be one outcome, couldn't there?
A deep one again. Watson is right in there. So too is Hallam. And Porterfield! Oh, Porterfield has scored! And Sunderland, the underdogs, are in the lead.
And they stayed in the lead. What an upset. But things were still looking good on the European battlefields.
Cherry, a goal! Right through the lot of them.
Lorimer making no doubt of his intentions unless he's going to fool everybody. Here comes Lorimer.
What a save and a goal! Jones! Lorimer did the damage.
To their horror, Leeds came up against not only an uncompromising AC Milan in the final in Greece, but also some bizarre refereeing decisions, and they lost 1-0. All these setbacks came as crushing blows to Don Revie, single-minded as he was in his quest to make Leeds the greatest club side in the world. He'd assembled a magnificent squad of players, all destined to be internationals. Their feats will be recorded in soccer's history books. It's not always easy to analyse success, but it was still an intriguing question for the man who'd built a team of footballing giants.
You know, they talk about good managers and talk about good coaches. I think if you've got good players in your club, then good players make good managers and bad players make bad managers. Because I always used to say, Bill Shank and I, that if we were at Halifax Town and they left us with the same type of players and no money, we'd have possibly got them organised well and got them super fit. But we'd never won anything, because you can't make bad players into good players and you can't make good players into great players. And all these lads that we had at Leeds, about 18, 16 internationals, all had tremendous flair and tremendous talent. And I think they only come together once in a lifetime.
Leeds should have won more honours, but the fates were not always kind, and the manager admitted to a superstitious streak, which many saw as a flaw.
I had the same blue suit on that I've had since the first match of the season, the same lucky tie, 1 or 2 lucky charms in my pocket. I have a spot up here. I walk up to the traffic lights every time, and I turn and walk back to the hotel.
The men around Revie were handpicked. Les Cocker, who kept the players in peak condition. Maurice Lindley, whose dossiers on the opposition became legendary. And all this part of the meticulous planning that went into every game. The other vital component in success, the family spirit engendered in the team.
4 and 3, 43, 5 and 6, 56, 8 and 3, 83.
Don's family had an important part to play too. Wife Elsie helped him relax away from Ellen Road, preferably on the golf course. But back at work, Don Revie had a special rapport with his other family.
Well, we do this every Thursday morning for the last 11 to 12 years. I feel it's been a great thing to them because it just relaxes them a little bit and gets the tension out of the muscles before the Saturday match. And we often say that if we had a pound for each one with massage, Bob, we'll be wealthy men, because we massage them on a Monday before a Wednesday game also, and I think they look forward to it.
The squad of players got us here now. For me, that only happens once in a lifetime. I think Leeds United, probably when all of us are finished, they'll probably have a good team, but they're not have a great team. This only happens for me once in a lifetime.
Yeah. To have 18 internationals in your side in this squad can't be bad at all. I don't think there's any other club in the country can boast that. And they're all under one roof at the same time.
Match day. The week's work comes to fruition, and it's a day of total commitment.
For Christ's sake, what a foul!
The 1973-4 season was to be Don's last with the club, though he didn't know it when the season got underway. Like all seasons, it had its ups and downs, its highs and lows, and its magic moments.
The referee saying play on. He may well have been fouled, but the referee playing the advantage rule. Bremner for Lorimer.
No wonder teams dreaded coming to Ellen Road.
There was a story, that Mike Doyle, when I took over the England job, and he was in my squad, he told me a story the first week that he joined when I had the England team. He said we'd be in the bath at Main Road at Manchester City, and they had a good side at the time, Lee and Summer being all that crowd. He said that we'd all be singing, we'd won at home 3 or 4-0, and somebody said, do we play next week? Leeds at Ellen Road. They said the bath used to go deathly silent, didn't like going Ellen Road.
So Madeley using that stride of his again. Jones. Clark. Madeley. Bates couldn't get out of the way. Jones, Bates. A goal. Big Bates. Throw to West Ham United, and Bobby Moore once again having to lift his side from beneath. Unfortunately, familiar habit for the Hammers this season now. Bad pass, sets Jones up. Lorimer's outside him. That's for Lorimer at the angle. Clark in the penalty area. Jones! Number 2. Good goal. Jones, Lorimer, Jones. Jones chasing. He's done it, I think. Yes, he has. That's 3. Beautifully taken by Jones. Madeley. Hunter. Cherry now going forward for Leeds. On the left is Bates. Plenty of men in the middle. Clark. Oh! A model header by Clark, and once again, Day left standing.
Hunter for Madeley. Searching for Clark. Bates, early for Giles. Lorimer under this. It's a good ball, Jones! Yes, indeed. Mick Jones pulls one back. So an awkward free kick for the Leicester defenders again. Giles through, Bremner, and he's allowed it. He is allowed the goal. It's 2-2 and Bremner scored it.
And by the end of it all, fittingly, the Dons' last season with the club was crowned with the league championship. Leeds' second league title, though, the prelude to a bombshell for the club. In July 1974, Don Revie tipped to be the next manager of England, and the pundits got it right. His phenomenal record at Ellen Road had made him the obvious candidate for the job vacated by Sir Alf Ramsey. Under Revie, Leeds enjoyed the most sustained period of success in their history. 2 league championships, the FA Cup, the Football League Cup and 2 European Fairs Cups. On July the 20th, Leeds appointed their successor to Revie, none other than Brian Clough, a staggering choice, in view of the fact only days earlier he'd suggested Leeds should be relegated to the 3rd Division and called some of their players cheats. His first training session aroused curiosity, but he was sacked by the time the new chapter in Don Revie's life got off to an exciting start. This was when Czechoslovakia were beaten at Wembley in the European Championships. It was the perfect beginning for Revie. No Bremner or Giles, but he did have new names, inherited heroes like Mike Shannon. Shannon to be involved in the second of the night's goals. A run down the left. Support through the middle, but the finish from Colin Bell. A player often coveted by Revie during his club days. Bell, of course, from Manchester City. But now Revie had charge of England, and players like Kevin Keegan and Trevor Brooking. And they'd not finished on this night. There was a third goal to come as well. Keegan involved. And Bell. Shannon again. And Bell's second of the night. Soon afterwards, the powerful West Germans were also to be vanquished at Wembley. Revie's colossal influence on players was paying off.
Spirit that England need tonight, and it's Kevin Keegan leading away through to McDonald on that left foot. Oh, and wonderful save by Meyer. Here's Hudson, played into McDonald's area there. Oh, and a little float and just moved. Hudson back for ball, played down for Shannon. Challenge from behind, which is unfair. And the free kick already taken, and here's ball now. With the cross as McDonald comes in, yes! Malcolm McDonald, number 2! Well, a shot there of Beckenbauer looking a little harassed. And Bell, and Watson with a header! Oh, nodded away by Benny Gomes!
So what made Don Revie so special to the men who played for him?
Oh, he's a tremendous players manager. I think one of the biggest problems is he's been misunderstood a lot by the press, but I suppose, to be fair, he only ever really cared about the players. So to play for him was a tremendous privilege. He gave you confidence, he was a great motivator, and he had a tremendous pride and passion for the game, and that carried through, you know, he could carry it through to certain players easier than others, and I think, certainly from my point of view, I can say he made me feel even more proud than I was to pull an England shirt, you know, which I didn't think was possible. He had this tremendous way of saying, hey, this is your country, you're the best in the country, those people have paid money to see you, come on, don't let them down, you know, and that was a tremendous motivator.
Rounding off a magnificent first season in charge, Revie then saw his team, inspired by his new captain, Gerry Francis, destroy the oldest enemy of all, Scotland.
Johnson, Francis, Shannon. Francis again. Oh, he's shaken off Jardine there. And there's a good shot. Oh, it's there! Gerry Francis! Oh, Gerry Francis, a beautiful goal! It's with Alfie Conn now for Scotland. Now Francis, chipping it forward to ball. Back again to Francis. It'll give England a lot of confidence, that goal. And it's showing there as Keegan takes it up. And Beattie is the only man up with him. Of all people, the fullback. The chip comes in towards Beattie. And it's there again! 2-0! 2 goals in the first 6 minutes. And Kevin Beattie and Kennedy can't believe it. Ball. Watson. Flick for Bell. A little chip this time for Francis. Ball away on the left for him, so is Beattie. Number 3 Beattie. Francis. Shannon. Francis again. Several good passes now by England. Colin Bell. Still with Colin Bell. Oh, number 3 by Bell! Watson away up here on the right in case they should try a long one. Well, they did try it again, and it came off, and it's a goal by Francis! Don Revie shouting away his orders, but I would think it's unlikely that he'll make any substitutions now. Conn, Hutchison and McGrain, just Hutchison and McGrain in that wall, played towards the near post. Oh, hit onto the crossbar, and then Watson didn't get it in, and Johnson did! David Johnson, 5-1 to England.
Despite all this success, not all sections of the media were happy with Revie's approach to the job, and that made him bristle, especially when England failed to reach the European finals.
Well, I feel that a big loss was Gerry Francis in the middle of the field, but no excuses. I was let decide that I think we'll do well. Everybody's tried to pick the team and ram 1,000 players down my throat, yourself and Jim Hale and managers and many people, many managers. I haven't hit back at them, but a lot of the managers who were talking have never won a trophy yet. When they start winning something and doing something at their own clubs, then they can criticise me. But I think it's part of the England manager's job to be criticised by the public, the press, the television. But I'm one that I've always made up my own mind about situations and players and teams, and I will continue to do that, because I think if you start listening to everybody in sight, you don't know where you are.
The problems began to mount for Revie when Italy virtually killed off our World Cup aspirations in Rome. 2 clinically struck goals were just the ammunition those who wanted him out of the England post needed to launch a campaign for his head. England's players would not be going to the finals in West Germany, and as always the man to bear the brunt of the failure was the manager. Yet had Don Revie really been such a flop in the job? On paper, the record didn't look at all bad. 29 games played, 14 won, 8 drawn, only 7 lost. But then, the next thunderbolt in this turbulent career, as the papers screamed out on the morning of July the 11th, 1977, 3 years and 1 week after taking over, Revie resigned as the England manager. He told the Daily Mail in an exclusive interview, "I sat down with my wife Elsie one night and we agreed the job was no longer worth the aggravation. It was bringing too much heartache to those nearest to us. Nearly everyone in the country seems to want me out, so I'm giving them what they want. I know people will accuse me of running away, and it does sicken me that I can't finish the job by taking England to the World Cup finals in Argentina next year. But the situation has become impossible." The following morning, those words about running away took on even more meaning when Revie announced he was to work in the United Arab Emirates. The press slaughtered him. Subsequently, the Football Association accused Revie of bringing the game into disrepute. He was suspended from working in English football until willing to face the charge. That didn't happen for some time. But Revie won his High Court appeal, and he told Richard Whiteley on YTV a few days later, given his time over again, he'd have handled things differently.
I was totally wrong. When I look back now, I would do it all differently if I was going to do it again. But I felt that I would have got the sack, although we only lost 6 out of about 30 matches with the England team when I was there for 3 years. I never got on with Saddle Thompson, which is a known fact throughout the country. And I felt like that I would have got the sack after the Italian game and the qualifying games for the World Cup. And I got this offer from Dubai, from the Emirates, and I decided to take it. Because when I look back at Alf Ramsey's record, he only lost about 11 matches in 10 years out of 116 and won the World Cup in 1966. And 1 bad result against Poland that night at Wembley in the qualifying games again when I took over in 74, and he was sacked.
Yeah.
But so I thought, well, if I get the sack and that job's not there anymore, I'd have possibly got another job in England or elsewhere. But the offer I got was so good that I got to take it.
Never again did Don Revie involve himself in the professional game other than in an advisory capacity. He ploughed his vast knowledge back into football through soccer schools for youngsters like the Yorkshire Television Soccer Academy, and found willing allies in many of his former players at club and international level.
I think outside of Bill Shankly, I would say he's a very close second to Bill Shankly, and in my life, you know, that is the highest accolade I can give anyone. There were 2 fantastic managers which I was privileged to play for.
It was during one of his visits to the soccer school in Leeds that Don Revie broke the most shattering news of all to me, that he was suffering from the killer disease, motor neurone.
Nobody knows very much about it here, but in America, they've got a scheme where they can put you on a 3-year plan there, but you've got to be an American citizen. And they've found a drug that over a 3-year period and exercise and certain things, they can stop it completely. They can't cure it a lot, but they can stop it. But you've got to be an American citizen, and I'd have to wait 6 years, which would be possibly far too long and too late. So I've just got to do the exercise and the treatment that they say so, and see what happens over the next few months.
Do you have to have assistance? You were saying earlier about...
Well, you've seen, John, I'm walking with a stick, and I try not to have assistance because I think I've got to try and fight it, or do all the things they've told me to do, but getting in and out of cars and walking, you see me walking today and getting in and out of chairs and things, is not an easy job. But you can either lie down to it, as the specialist told me in Houston. He said, well, Don, you can have pity parties all your life, and you'll find at the end of all the pity parties, you'll only be the one left at the pity party by yourself. He said, oh, you can get up and fight it and have a go at it. And that's what I intend to do.
That fighting spirit, that indomitable will to conquer the opposition never waned, But the crippling disease, which had also claimed actor David Niven, was soon having a marked effect, and so it was that at a game played in Don Revie's honour at Ellen Road, the proceeds to go to motor neurone research, all his sons, as he still loved to call them, were there to pay their own tributes.
The greatest quality he had was his man management, because he had under his roof about 18 full internationals, and he knew how to handle us all and get the best out of each other, and he created a marvellous atmosphere at the club. Good players, good manager, and it was a pleasure to be here.
Coming over to you, Jack, I'm sure you didn't always agree with him, but I'm sure you learned a bit from him as well.
No, his man management, I was just thinking when he was going, because Don used to go on a Friday, he'd come and put his arm around you and that meant you weren't playing.
He is Leeds United because when he was here, it didn't matter if he was here, actually at the ground. He could be in Scotland, but he was here. His presence was always here.
I had a job to get the cheese back, but I did. And it's very kind of all these players who've travelled thousands of miles to be here. And for Billy and all his players to do a good job for me. Had a good crowd turned out. And everybody's been very kind.
It was a poignant and emotional farewell. Don Revie was never again to see Ellen Road or Leeds United, the club that he built from almost nothing. He died on May the 26th, a mere 61. Although they knew the end had been coming, the men he made into stars were deeply shocked.
I would say he's the best club manager ever played for. He was Leeds United. To all the great team that we had, all those players, and include the squad of players, he was Leeds United.
He looked after all the players, not just the players, but the families as well. He was a great man and a great manager.
The funeral service in Scotland was attended by old players and the fans who simply wanted to pay their last respects. Later, a memorial service was also held in Leeds, the city that will always be synonymous with a great man and a great manager who didn't lose many matches, but in the end lost the greatest fight of his life.
In these last years, he suffered the gradual helplessness and indignity of an incurable disease. It was the game he couldn't win.
We had no words before the game, but after a hard contest, which we always had with Leeds, of course, then it was all smiles, congratulations, or hard luck, whichever the case may be. A drink and away home.
Everybody says part of the family. What did it mean in reality?
It meant you had 15, 20 brothers, basically what it meant.
He's like a father to me, you know, and he saved my England career. He was a great manager. I just think he was very unfortunate that we just didn't have any good players. As simple as that. If the players had been good enough, he would have probably been as great a success as Alf Ramsey.
We remember him with pride, with thankfulness, with affection. Don Revie of Leeds and England.
The memories that you can't take away from you, John. And in my little snug at home where I've got the television, the video and all my tapes of all the matches and sport, I've got all the players and photographs that matter to me, like Matt Busby, Jock Stein, Shanks, the championship winning team, the cup final team. And it's nice memories to have around about you.